Certainly to have it happen on the first night of Hanukkah was devastating to Jewish people around the world.
Now at 7 o'clock, local reaction after 2 gunmen target a Hanukkah celebration in Australia, killing more than a dozen people. We're going to hear from a local rabbi who knew one of the victims and what Portland police are doing in response to that shooting. Also this morning, the latest on efforts to find a missing climber on Mount Hood. That effort is now a recovery mission. Plus,
people are coming from all over the area just to take advantage of these people who can't get to their properties right now.
We'll have this story for you at 7:45. Looters targeting flooded areas in Washington, and there's growing concern that this week's weather could make things even worse. The Sunrise Show, streaming live at 7 o'clock, starts right now. Good morning and thanks for joining us on this Monday. I'm Drew Carney. We have no China Green today. Rod Hill also off. He's back tomorrow. Chris McGinnis in the meantime. One more day in the Weather Center talking about this week's forecast.
Yeah, another wet morning out there. And Drew, since midnight, we picked up nearly a half an inch of rain here at KGW in our news studios. Well, not in the news studio. The rain gauge is up on the roof. Thankfully, we are dry inside. Look at that. In the last couple of minutes, we have got some lightning strikes now being reported along the North Oregon coast in Clatsop County, a sign of the unstableness of the atmosphere. So what's happening is our steady rain is beginning to taper off in favor of more occasional rain, as in there will be some dry time, but also some thunder popping up, not only at the coast, but it's possible that we get some of that thunder inland as well. Right now, the Springs to the Waterfront camera showing a rainy Vancouver waterfront. It's 52 degrees there. It's 50 last check at PDX for the breezes out of the east. Meanwhile, down in Salem, the breeze has swung around to the south and picked up to 17 miles an hour. It's 55 right now in Salem. Salem's record high today is 60. The sun hasn't even come up and it's 55. Portland's record high is 59. I've got us at 60. So yes, record warmth in the forecast today to go along with the rain this morning. The rain tapers off to occasional showers. Turns very breezy, south winds on the order of about 20 with gusts to 30 today. It's going to be an active day today and an active week. We've got on and off rain and wind in the forecast and lowering Cascade snow levels. I'm going to try to break all that down coming up in just a few minutes. But first, let's break down your morning commute, which is breaking pretty hard through North Portland. There's the I-5 drive on the left-hand side of your screen. Actually, the lower right is the trip near the Interstate Bridge, of course, out of Clark County, and it's slow and steady all the way down past the Expo Center. You can see the amount of water on the roads. I mean, we are dealing with a kind of a gnarly commute in terms of rainfall. 20 minutes right now to drive in from Troutdale on I-84. The I-5 South Drive from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge is up to 17 minutes at last check. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. We begin our news headlines this hour in Australia, where police say 15 people died and more than 2 others are in the hospital after a mass shooting on a beach in Sydney. Officials are calling this a terrorist attack that targeted Jewish people celebrating the first day of Hanukkah. The 15 dead include a rabbi, a Holocaust survivor, and a 10-year-old girl. Police identified the suspects as a 50-year-old father and his 24-year-old son. Police shot and killed the father. The son remains in critical condition in police custody. Australia's Prime Minister called this shooting an evil act of anti-Semitism.
Today, all Australians wrap our arms around them and say, we stand with you. We will do whatever is necessary to stamp out anti-Semitism. It is a scourge and we will eradicate it together.
There was also this act of heroism during all the chaos. A bystander jumping into action right there, wrestling with one of the gunmen and pulling a weapon out of his hands. Police believe the father and son were the only suspects involved in this attack. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live now at Pioneer Courthouse Square in downtown Portland with more local reaction to this shooting. Thomas?
Hey, good morning, Drew. And yeah, people who came down to Pioneer Courthouse Square for the first night of Hanukkah say they're gutted by this massacre in Australia, though they add that they refuse to live in fear. Hundreds of people came to downtown Portland for the first night of the celebration, lighting the first candle for the holiday in both celebration and solemn solidarity. After 15 people were killed in Australia, those victims range in age from 10 to 87 years old. We spoke to a Portland rabbi who tells us he knows one of the victims, a fellow rabbi who was killed. Other people who attended the candle lighting say they refuse to be scared by anti-Semitism.
I'm going to come down here because I'm not going to let fear deter me.
We're not going away. We're not hiding. We are here. We have the right to be safe. We want to feel safe. And we want to make sure that our community leaders also understand the Jewish community is here and to help keep us safe.
And here at Pioneer Courthouse Square, throughout Hanukkah, a light will be lit on the candle and the menorah behind us every day through Sunday. Meanwhile, Portland police say they are ramping up patrols, not only at Jewish events like this one throughout the holiday, but at synagogues and places of worship as well. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning at Pioneer Courthouse Square. There was also this Hanukkah celebration yesterday across the Columbia in Vancouver. The Chabad Jewish Center invited the public to the lighting of this 19-foot grand menorah along the city's waterfront. A rabbi with the Jewish Center described the event as a public way to celebrate the start of Hanukkah, focused on extending peace and religious freedom to others.
This is exactly the message. We will not let to terrorize our celebration, to terrorize the Jewish community. We will not give up about this. In fact, the whole concept of the holiday of Hanukkah, the lesson that we learn from the menorah is exactly about this.
Yesterday's event in Vancouver also included this dropping of chocolate coins from high above for the kids. There was music and local vendors as well. In other local headlines, police arrested 3 suspects accused of robbing and shooting someone at an apartment in Kaiser, leaving them with life-threatening injuries. This attack happened in late October at an apartment on McGee Court Northeast. The charges against the 3 suspects, 2 men and a woman, included attempted murder. Police also seized a handgun while serving search warrants. A shooting in southeast Portland over the weekend left 2 people hurt. This happened Saturday morning near Southeast 127th and Stark. An officer said they heard shots and saw people running from a parking lot. Police found one of the injured people nearby. The other person was taken to a hospital. Investigators are asking witnesses to reach out to Portland police. The Hood River County Sheriff's Office suspended the search for a 26-year-old man who was last seen trying to climb Mount Hood. The Sheriff's Office says Matthew Aldridge reportedly kept climbing up the mountain by himself, even though 2 other climbers with him had turned back because of declining conditions. Phone data suggests that Aldridge fell at some point, but efforts to find him both on the ground and in the air have been unsuccessful. This search is now considered a recovery mission. In Multnomah County, the Sheriff's Office is asking for help to find this missing woman. 58-year-old Kelly Fuller was last seen Saturday afternoon in the parking lot of the Troutdale Safeway on Southeast Stark Street. The Sheriff's Office says she has dementia and cannot care for herself. She's only 4'11", about 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. If you see her, call 911, or if you have any information about where she may be, you can reach out to the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office. Before we get back to Chris McGinnis in the Weather Center, how about this live look outside from our Salem Skycam? Some raindrops in the air all throughout the area this morning, Chris. As soon as I stepped outside at about 3:15 and walked to my car, I was like, man, this is a little wetter than I remember it being on Friday night for sure, and through most of the weekend, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, ridiculously mild. I've got some stats to show you in my next weather hit, but just ridiculously mild for the first half of December. Also stormy this morning. Check this out. Lightning strikes in the last hour have flickered quite a bit here across northern Clatsop County from Astoria and then east towards Skamokwa in Wahkiakum County here. So the atmosphere percolating a little bit. That's a sign of things to come, by the way. We look live right now from Lincoln City. Don't see any lightning or anything like that, but actually we're getting a little dry break, I think, as you go down to the central Oregon coast. It's 58 right now in Lincoln City with the south breeze at 12. There you can see the lightning strikes up towards Astoria. The rain that's pelted the metro area over the last hour or so is beginning to wind down. I shouldn't say wind down. The steady rain's moving on out, so there will be breaks, but we're going to have numerous showers in the forecast, especially this morning. And some of those showers, especially if you hear a rumble of thunder, could be briefly heavy. All right, right now up at Vancouver, it's 52 degrees with a light east breeze along the waterfront. That's actually from Pearson Airfield. Meanwhile, the breeze at PDX is out of the east at 11, and it's 50. That breeze will swing to the south a little bit later this morning and become quite gusty. It is starting to ratchet up a little bit right now in Salem. Right now, you're up to 55 degrees. Salem's record high today, by the way, is 60. You're 55 and the sun hasn't even come up yet, and the south breeze is really starting to pick up. There is a wind advisory in effect for the higher terrain of the Coast Range, so just be mindful if you're driving through the Coast Range today. 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts could be enough to knock down a tree or some power lines. We've got that situation on the east side of the Cascades as well in the Columbia Basin, where eventually you folks will have gusty west winds. All right, later on this morning, we mentioned the south wind picking up. Futurecast likes wind gusts in the valley on the order of 20 to 30 today and 30 to 40 at the coast, with 50-mile-an-hour gusts possible in the higher terrain of the Coast Range. 60. If we get there, that would be our third 60-degree day of the month, and that would be a new record high today as well. Tomorrow, a little rainy in the morning, and then really rainy and really windy tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's going to be an active night, lowering snow levels on Wednesday in the Cascades, and then another shot of rain and a little bit of wind to wrap up the work week. I said it was going to be an active week. There you go. Winter, by the way, arrives on Sunday. All right, let's get shouted over the look at the roads, and the roads look wet. It is a slog out there. There's the Sylvan Hill on the upper left-hand part of your screen. That's Highway 26. All three lanes now slow and go coming in from the west side. The drive now in from Hillsborough is ticking up. Just shy of 20 minutes now gets you in from Brookwood Parkway. The I-5 drive from Vancouver south to Portland, 17 minutes in building to get you from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
All right, thank you, Chris.
It's Phillip Rivers with a touchdown pass.
I feel like we should say 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. Yep, out of retirement and right back into the end zone. And he wasn't the only athlete taking on Father Time over the weekend. We're going to have more on that when Sunrise, streaming live here at 7 o'clock, continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Portland State has a new head football coach. It's Chris Fisk, who was head coach at Central Washington since 2019. He's put together 6 straight winning seasons, including a 10-2 record this year. Fisk is the 15th head coach in Portland State football history. Washington State also has a new head coach. Kirby Moore agreed to, do we have the Kirby Moore video, gang? Do we have that Kirby Moore story or no? We don't. Okay. We'll tell you more about Kirby Moore. He's the new head coach at Washington State. We'll have a little bit more about him later this morning on the Sunrise Show. But we do want to tell you about something that happened over the weekend. We're talking about the NFL now. Future Hall of Fame quarterback Phillip Rivers, a father of 10, who was coaching high school football just last month, returned to the NFL nearly 5 full years after his last pro game. Here's more on that story from Ryan Chandler.
Rivers, and he's got a man, touchdown!
Phillip Rivers taking the field for the Indianapolis Colts.
It's Phillip Rivers with a touchdown pass.
6 days after his 44th birthday, mounting an unlikely return after retiring in 2021, making him the oldest player in the league right now. The father of 10, spending nearly 5 years on the sidelines, coaching his son's high school football team. Now returning to the gridiron as a grandfather. When Rivers joined the NFL in 2004, Sam Darnold, his opposing quarterback tonight, was just 7 years old. He got the improbable call-up after QB Daniel Jones's season-ending Achilles tear, earning a spot after joining practice on Monday.
This is the era of older athletes. The NFL is by far the most physical, brutal league there is. So to have someone come out in this circumstance, in this league, is extraordinary.
Across the sports world, the old guard proving they still have what it takes to defy the odds.
Lindsey Vonn now, he's absolutely flying.
Watch Olympic All-Star Lindsey Vonn speed past her younger competitors Friday, racing to first place almost 8 years after her last victory.
41 years of age, oldest winner of a World Cup race. Unbelievable, incredible, sensational.
Showing if age is just a number, why not go for number one?
If I have the chance to do something I love one more time, I'm definitely going to take it.
The grandfather turned starting quarterback. A comeback complete. Ryan Chandler, NBC News.
I was watching that game, and I thought, my goodness, this is going to be a huge headline tomorrow. Philip Rivers.
Clobbered, couldn't move.
No, I thought it was going to be a huge headline that he was going to lead a comeback over the Seahawks. And the Colts were that close, but thankfully for Seahawks fans, the Hawks pulled it out in the end.
There's hope for us. No, there's not. You were mentioning how lovely it was to be outside last week because it was so warm.
Friday night was awesome.
Yeah, very warm. Let's just show you how warm. So I worked on this. This is where we say we are halfway through the month of December, and PDX is nearly 8 degrees above normal for the month. That is absurdly, alarmingly warm, of course, which is why the Cascades have no snow up at the Cascade ski resorts, and we're going to do it again today. So here are some of the records that are within reach. I don't think Eugene's record is in jeopardy, but you know, Astoria tied a record yesterday. Salem's record high is 60. My forecast for you is 60. Portland at PDX, the record high today is 59. My forecast is 60. So you get the idea. I mean, just ridiculously warm weather continues across the Pacific Northwest today. In fact, Pendleton, modeling suggests Pendleton gets into the mid-60s today. 60 in the Dalles and up and down the I-5 corridor. This is just crazy warm. There are some signs that we're going to dial back the temperatures a little bit and finally get some Cascade snow. You'll see that in my 7-day forecast. But for now, it's all about the rainy morning commute. The steady rain is going to taper off, but we're going to be peppered with frequent showers, I think, throughout the day, especially this morning. There's already been a few lightning strikes, by the way, along the North Oregon coast and into portions of Clatsop County. So thunder is a possibility. And I'm pretty confident that the breeze is going to pick up out of the south as we go through the day today as well. All right, tomorrow, a little rainy, but then really rainy overnight Tuesday and into Wednesday. And if today is breezy, tomorrow night could be downright windy. So start thinking about, securing your lawn furniture and all that if you still have some out there, because Tuesday night is going to be a windy night. And then the rest of the week ahead, again, is on and off rainy with potentially lowering snow levels in the Cascades. All right, for now, and over the last couple of hours, we have had some lightning strikes. It's just east of Astoria, getting up into the Coast Range. We got a pretty good slug of rain that came in the wee hours of this morning. The steady rain will taper off, and you can see Futurecast here shuts the steady rain off, but then we just get peppered with frequent showers across the region. Don't get too fixated on where you see those yellow and orange blobs. The point is that anybody will have a chance of a shower or even a thunder shower today, especially if we manage any sun breaks. The air aloft is becoming increasingly unstable, so if we get enough heating, that could be enough to trigger some thunder out there throughout the morning and early afternoon. Eventually, the weather quiets down tonight and into early tomorrow before our next storm system comes in later tomorrow. All right, there's a wind advisory for the higher trend of the Cascades, wind advisory out across the Columbia Basin as well. South winds are really going to get going today on the order of maybe 20 to 30 from time to time today. And then tomorrow night, it looks like a reasonable shot that they're even gustier. I would not be surprised if we get a wind advisory for the valley Tuesday night into Wednesday to go along with that next storm system, which promises more rain. Also, you'll note that we go from really, really warm stuff back to more seasonable temperatures on Wednesday and Thursday, and that will allow the Cascade snow levels to dip. We do think the Cascade ski resorts will get some snow starting Wednesday, and at times those snow levels dip all the way down to the Cascade passes moving into the weekend. Okay, let's get you out the door with a look at the roads, and they are wet. Check out the upper right-hand corner of your screen. That's I-5 at the 205 interchange in Tualatin. The headlights that are coming right towards you, like that semi right there, that's the ramp from 205 south to I-5 south. It's no fun being stuck behind that with all that road spray in your face. So Be prepared for that this morning. 20 minutes get you in from Hillsborough, 22 minutes the drive in from Troutdale. And at last check, the I-5 drive from Clark County is just shy of 20 from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We had planned to hold our holiday light celebration here today, and instead, we are gathered here to share light with one another in one of Providence's darkest times.
This was the scene in Providence, Rhode Island last night. Organizers turning what was supposed to be a Christmas tree and menorah lighting event into a vigil following this weekend's shooting at Brown University. Police detained a person of interest on Sunday only to release them from custody about 12 hours later. They say evidence points to a different suspect at this point. The shooting happened on Saturday, leaving 2 people dead and 9 others hurt. The university was placed on lockdown while hundreds of officers searched for the shooter. That lockdown was lifted early Sunday, although authorities still haven't released any information about a potential motive.
Absolutely, this is a huge wake-up call for everybody that has been affected, and just everybody in the country in general. I think gun violence is a huge issue, and this is truly so tragic that we're seeing these events happen over and over again. And so I think something definitely needs to be done.
Brown canceled all remaining classes, exams, paper deadlines, and projects for the semester, telling students that they were clear to leave campus. Hollywood actor and director Rob Reiner and his wife were both found dead inside their home on Sunday from an apparent stabbing. Reiner is considered one of Hollywood's most prolific directors. Conan Nolan takes a look back at his career, both on the scene and behind the scenes.
You have to be kidding!
America first came to know him as the hippie son-in-law of the blue-collar bigot Archie Bunker, played by Carol O'Connor in the 70s TV comedy All in the Family. It ran for 9 seasons.
Boss, he's not my son, Gloria. I mean, get your hands off my daughter, you balloon!
While there were other acting roles, it was behind the camera that Rob Reiner had his cinematic impact, inventing the modern romantic comedy with Harry Met Sally with Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal. The often quoted The Princess Bride, which has been newly rediscovered by younger audiences. And the military courtroom classic A Few Good Men, where Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson faced off over a murder at the U.S. military base in Guantanamo, Cuba. He once told talk show host Howard Stern that he learned filmmaking from his father, Carl Reiner, himself an actor and screenwriter who had often worked with Steve Martin.
Now, I can tell you that it wasn't until, and this is now I'm in my mid to late 30s, it wasn't until I did Stand By Me that I started feeling myself. And I
Yes.
said, okay, a long time it took me to start to carve out my own
identity.
world. Yes.
Reiner was also active in politics. He routinely helped raise money for the Democratic Party. In 1998, he single-handedly championed Proposition 10, a 50-cent per pack tax on cigarettes to finance child education and health programs. He was also a fierce critic of President Trump. This was Reiner on the Jimmy Fallon Show during the president's first term in office.
Unless the public is informed, we don't have a chance to hold this democracy together. So we're fighting, and hopefully we will, because we love this country and we don't want to see it devolve.
Recently releasing Spinal Tap 2, a sequel 4 decades following his first movie, a satirical send-up of the then popular rock documentary. Rob Reiner was a virtuoso whose intent was to make his audiences laugh, understand life, and to take a stand. To many, he was the best of Hollywood.
And again, that was Conan Nolan reporting for us this morning. Back here at home, Gravel Street Service returning to Portland to fix potholes and gravel roads all around the city. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is going to join us live next half hour with more on what areas of the city are impacted. Plus,
People are coming from all over the area just to take advantage of these people who can't get to their properties right now.
she's talking about looters taking advantage of closed-off roads and flooded neighborhoods in Washington after last week's weather forced people to evacuate their homes. The concern this week is that weather could make things even worse. We'll have more on this coming up at 7:45.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Coming up on 7:29 on what has been a wet morning so far. The steady rain that we've had out there over the last couple of hours is beginning to taper off, but it's going to be punctuated with numerous showers, I think, for the morning hours here. Also, look closely up there by Astoria. We've had some lightning strikes in the last 60 minutes there. Live from downtown Portland, our Wells Fargo sky camera showing, it's rainy. It's 50 last check at the airport, and it's going to be a very mild day. Breezy and mild later today, maybe a few sun breaks, with record warmth in the forecast. Today's record is 59. I've got us at 60 in between those showers and sun breaks. Rainy again tomorrow, and it's going to be a fairly wet week ahead as well. And pretty windy again tomorrow night. So a very active and rainy third week of December. Let's get you out the door and on the roads and show you how the water is on the roads this morning. There's plenty of traffic in the water on the roads. Highway 26 inbound on the upper left-hand part of your screen. That's at the Sylvan Hill. Your drive right now coming in from Hillsborough has jumped up to 25 minutes at last check. The drive north from Wilsonville is about 24 minutes, excuse me, and 20 minutes. Your southbound I-5 drive, Main Street to the Fremont.
All right, take a look at this as we kick off the 7:30 half hour of the Sunrise Show. Peacock Lane opening up for its 93rd season tonight. The street, which runs from Southeast Belmont to Southeast Stark, has long been known as Portland's Christmas Street. Houses on the lane go all out with the lights and the holiday decorations. So starting tonight, lights will be on every night between 6 and 11 through New Year's Eve. Friday and Saturday nights, by the way, are set aside as pedestrian-only nights. So no cars allowed to drive through the lane on Saturday and Sunday nights. Friday and Saturday nights. Friday and Saturday nights. This is Monday morning on the Sunrise Show. I'm Drew Carney. China Green has the morning off. Rod Hill is also off. He's back tomorrow after taking parts of 3 weeks off. And Chris McGinnis could use a break because he's handling traffic and weather
It's
again.
felt like 3 months in the last week and a half, hasn't it? With all the weather. And today's another active weather day. So let's get you out the door. Radar showing the steady rain that we had earlier this morning beginning to taper off. Taper off's the wrong word. We're changing the steady rain to occasional showers. Some of the showers are quite heavy. And in fact, in the last hour, we've had some thunder, some lightning strikes here up in Clatsop County. So the atmosphere is somewhat unstable. We may hear a rumble of thunder yet this morning here in Portland and Vancouver. Vancouver right now, looking down on the springs of the waterfront, you can see the holiday lights there still lit up. 53 degrees in Vancouver. At Pearson Airfield, the east breeze is at 8. The breeze out of the east at the airport as well at 11. That's up at PDX. The breeze down in Salem right now has shifted to the south, and it's starting to get a little gusty. The south winds right there are sustained at 17 miles an hour, and it's 55. By the way, the record in Salem today is 60. Record warmth is also one of the headlines today. Another day in the 60s here. This would make our third so far this December. I've got Portland topping out at 60. South breeze picking up 15 to 20 in between those showers. It'll be a gusty and breezy day today and also intermittently showery. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. The roads, as you can imagine, are wet. We've picked up about a half an inch of rain or so since midnight. So there's plenty of road spray and all that fun stuff out there. The upper left-hand part of your screen, that's the Sylvan Hill. Highway 26 certainly getting slow there, moving in towards the Vista Ridge Tunnel. 25 minutes now gets you in from Hillsborough, 24 minutes, the northbound I-5 drive from Wilsonville. The trip over the Columbia, not bad on I-205, but I-5 south is a slow slog in the rain. 21 minutes now, your southbound commute from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. New this morning, the city of Portland is ramping up efforts to smooth out gravel streets around town starting today. So crews are going to work to improve 50 miles worth of gravel streets beginning in southeast Portland. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live with more on this. So Thomas, what specifically is the city focusing on with this work?
Yeah, well, Drew, Peabody is going to be filling in potholes and smoothing out some of those gravel roads that just, of course, get bumpy over time. They're also going to be adding gravel to some roads that may need a little bit of a boost. They've been doing this work since 2018, Peabody has, serving more than 5,000 Portland residences. This year, the work will start in southeast Portland in neighborhoods like Richmond, Hosford, Abernathy, and Buckman. After that, crews will move north of Division Street and into north and northeast Portland later this month. So if you live in those neighborhoods, look for no parking signs, which Peabody says they'll put out a few days beforehand. Traffic could also be limited during the work. Most of that construction is going to take place from 7 in the morning to 4 p.m. It's also could happen on the weekends too if work needs to bubble over into the weekend. Of course, most of it will happen during the weekdays. Peabody also says that it'll take about a day for each of the projects as they try to smooth out those roads, add some gravel, and work on any potholes that they may need to address. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning there in downtown Portland. Meanwhile, Multnomah County has declared a state of emergency because of ice activity. The county joins cities like Salem, Hillsborough, Woodburn, as well as Washington County, who have all taken similar action. This declaration gives Multnomah County more flexibility to request assistance from the state, respond to federal impacts, and connect people with local resources. This week, county commissioners will also consider allocating $250,000 for legal and human services. Here's more from County Commissioner Shannon Singleton during a meeting last week.
Now, earlier this morning, ICE took 2 more people from my district. These are 2 more people taken from our community and invoking ongoing fear and sadness. As I know we are collectively in a protective mode, it's understandable that we feel this way, and during these times we need to focus on strengthening this precious safety net.
Commissioner Singleton there and County Chair Jessica Vega-Peterson also plan to introduce a resolution to bolster the county's sanctuary status. They're going to hold a virtual town hall and listening session on the proposed sanctuary policy updates later today. The city of Waldport along the Oregon coast is also sending a message to ICE. Last Wednesday, city leaders unanimously passed this resolution saying that the city is opposed to housing federal agents. It also states that the city would take all action necessary to try and discourage a local hotel owner from signing a deal with the feds. Rumors started on the coast that ICE had offered a contract to the owner of the Giant All-Sea Resort, the largest hotel there in Waldport. City Manager Dan Cutter spoke to the hotel's owner on the phone, urging him to not take that contract.
I really just laid out the kind of strong, vehement opposition that so many residents in the city had. And I tried to explain that, a short-term government contract, it might provide, riches in the short term. He really needed to be thinking about this business in the long term.
Cutter says the resort's owner is an immigrant who's been here in the U.S. for a long time. He ultimately agreed to not sign that contract with ICE, at least for the time being. All right, let's get to the latest on the historic flooding that's hit Washington, specifically the northwest part of the state, extremely hard. The city of Auburn ordered nearly 1,000 people to evacuate. Residents are packing what they can and trying to get out fast, but it hasn't been easy to leave by car as floodwaters are both deep and unpredictable.
So I took a left and I was like, the water's not that high. So I was like, you know what, maybe I can maneuver through it. Nope, it started flooding the car, the engine stopped working.
In Skagit County, people are still cleaning up from the record flooding last week. One family in Burlington says they found 3 feet of water inside their home on Friday. Just 10 days earlier, that same family had given birth to their 3rd child.
Very joyful moments, but at the same time, we have those breaks where we see the cameras and we see the devastation, not only to our house, but, the people around us.
The federal government approved funding for Washington that would allow the state to recover up to 75% of damage costs, although an exact dollar amount hasn't been determined yet. We also spoke to a Red Cross volunteer from Oregon who was called to help people impacted by the flooding there in Washington. So she says that shelters there are absolutely at capacity. Rebecca Davenport was deployed last Wednesday to help supervise shelters in the affected areas. In Burlington, homes were submerged under 8 feet of water in some cases. Davenport says one shelter there filled up with about 150 people, forcing the Red Cross to open up another location nearby. And with another atmospheric river on the way, she says this situation could actually get worse.
My worries is we are already flooded and the ground is saturated and the rivers are full. What this is going to do.
The Red Cross says it will continue to monitor conditions and is preparing for additional evacuations if necessary. First responders in Lincoln County along the Oregon coast are working to learn more about a landslide that forced Highway 229 to close last week. The sheriff's office says 10 homes between Kernville and Siletz remain under an evacuation notice. So far, 2 homes there have been damaged. ODOT says it's not clear how long the closure of Highway 229 will last. They're telling people to use Highway 101 in the meantime. And the sheriff's office also says if you find any personal items that wash up nearby, you can call the county's non-emergency number to report those items. All right, Chris, let's keep talking about the weather here. You've got a lot happening behind you there on the radar.
We do. This is going to be another very active week weather-wise. No one storm is hopping out like, oh my goodness, this is the storm of storms. But we continue with rounds of rain, occasionally gusty wind, and eventually some lowering snow levels in the Cascades too. Pardon me, you'll see that in my 7-day forecast. All right, pardon me. For this morning, we've picked up about a half an inch of rain at PDX so far. Radar also showing in the last hour that we've had some lightning strikes here up in Clatsop County, just east of Astoria. So a sign of things to come, I think, for a lot of us throughout the later morning hours here as the steady rain breaks up in favor of occasional showers and maybe even a rumble of thunder that we may hear here in Portland. This is Futurecast at 8:30. Again, we're getting peppered with showers. The shower trend is probably going to diminish as we go into the afternoon. So this is the wettest part of our day right now, with decreasing showers later today. That said, any of those showers, the stronger showers, could briefly put down some heavy rain. I think we finally get a little lull in the action overnight tonight before the next system comes in later tomorrow. All right, at the beach today, windy with showers and possible thunderstorms. We've already had some rumbles of thunder east of Astoria and south winds gusting to 40 miles an hour at the beach. There is a wind advisory for the higher terrain of the Coast Range today and also out across portions of the Columbia Basin getting east of like Maupin and out towards the Arlington area. That'll be for a west wind later today. Check out Futurecast. South wind gusts at the beach 30 to 40. That's standard fare there, but in the Willamette Valley, gusts to 30. You're going to notice that for sure before that wind finally ratchets down as we head into this evening. It will then come back up in the forecast later tomorrow night. In the gorge, breezy and mild with highs up near 60 for Cascade Locks, and again in and out of the raindrops, I should say, and then up and down the I-5 corridor. The other story today is the record or near record warmth in our forecast. Salem's record high today is 60, and I think you get to about 60. Portland's record high is 59. I've got Vancouver at 60. It's 50 right now at the airport. East breeze at 11. That south wind really picking up later today, and temperatures inching up towards the 60-degree mark, I think, by lunchtime. Say hello to Cliff. Cliff is today's pet of the day. If you want to get a proper shout out to your favorite four-legged friend, snap a photo and send it, or email it, I should say, to petoftheday, all one word, at kgw.com. We mentioned it would be an active week, and there you go. Our 70 forecast is on and off wet. Really breezy overnight Tuesday and Wednesday again. And then with the temperatures finally lowering Wednesday, Thursday, this is our opportunity to get some Cascade snow. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. They are wet, of course, and starting to slow down significantly. Your sunset right now, Highway 26, has jumped up to almost 30 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough. The I-5 drive from Wilsonville, not too far behind, 27 minutes right now, get you in from Wilsonville Road, and I-5 from Clark County. At last check, that's 22 minutes now from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Want to quickly update you here on our great toy drive. These are the final 2 days, today and tomorrow, of this year's drive. So as we look inside the toy box this morning, it does look a little empty, but that's only because our toy drive elves were busy over the weekend, bagging up a bunch of your donations, clearing more space for tomorrow's big parade of toys. That's when more donations from all over the area, we're talking tens of thousands of toys, arrive here at our studio. It is not too late to make a difference. You can show up online right now, make a cash donation. Go to kgw.com/toy, click that donate cash button. We will buy more toys for kids and families in need. Big thanks to everyone who's already donated, our community partners this year, and also to our toy drive sponsors, IQ Credit Union, Ziply Fiber, Fred Meyer, and local Toyota dealerships.
We didn't believe it until we really saw it, how bad it was.
Residents near Washington's Snohomish River dealing with all of that right there on your screen. A well-traveled road that's sitting under 20 feet of water. How looters are using that flooded road to target people who are cut off from their homes, coming up next.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
People just come in, it's like, ooh, look at this place. We'll just go ahead and loot this place, or we'll rob this place because they're not home.
Looters are moving through floodwaters to target evacuated properties near the Snohomish River in Washington. And in one case, they even used kayaks to reach a family farm that is completely underwater. Madeline Carter with her sister station in Seattle has more on the closed-off road that's now become a thoroughfare for thieves.
Marsh Road in Snohomish has become a popular pit stop. Neighbors.
Okay, bye-bye.
Curious strangers.
How do you stop the video?
It stopped. Even the worms coming out to see the route they never thought would flood.
We came over here to check it out, and we didn't believe it until we really saw it, how bad it was.
This is Marsh Road before it went under. The Snohomish River, where it's supposed to be, about 6 miles away.
It's such a peaceful road. There's not much distractions around you. There's not too many people, and it's just a peaceful cruising drive, listening to some music.
But after.
Now, I guess you could do the same thing with a boat, but I don't.
The road he used to drive on every single day is now completely covered in water. And this right here is just the beginning. I'm told it gets about 20 to 30 feet deep. A popular golf course, multiple family farms are now completely underwater. And the sheriff's office tells me they've seen a lot of people out here in kayaks.
People are coming from all over the area just to take advantage of these people who can't get to their properties right now. And it's heartbreaking,
Someone even climbed up on Riva and Michael's roof to take a picture of the history-making flood.
They had kayaks out here, but they were taking trucks and trailers down with boats with motors on them.
Deputies say looters navigated to flooded Franklin Farms, but thankfully all stolen property was recovered. Now, you'll find remnants from the farm, even animals, next to Riva and Michael's house, where the water has stayed out, at least for now.
That next storm that's coming through Monday through Thursday is probably going to take our house.
Anyone forced to evacuate again should lock up valuables and take steps to protect your property from people who aren't supposed to be here.
Again, that was Madeline Carter with our sister station in Seattle reporting. Let's get closer to home here. Eric Patterson, our sunrise photographer, with a shot of Northeast Rosa Parks Way here, and you can kind of see some of that wind that's moving the trees there, some of the signs. Gusty winds this morning. Chris McGinnis in now to talk more about that.
Yeah, and I don't even know that necessarily does it justice. The wind is really going to become an issue, I think, later today and again tomorrow night. We've got a very warm air mass. It's a somewhat stormy air mass as well, and the winds are going to pick up today, tomorrow, and we'll get to all that. But we do have a wind advisory in effect for the higher trend of the Coast Range today, so just be mindful. If you're traveling through the Coast Range today, south wind gusts may be on the order of 50+ miles an hour out there. That could easily, with as rainy as it's been, easily be enough to take down a tree or some power lines and whatnot, so be alert. Also, east of the Cascades, out in the parts of the Columbia Basin, we've got a wind advisory for an increasing west wind later today out towards Arlington, a little bit later on today. All right, it's 50 last check at PDX. It's incredibly mild, and for now the breeze is out of the east at 11 miles an hour. The breeze, though, down in Salem has swung around to the south at 17. Speaking of mild, it's 55 degrees in Salem. The record high for today in Salem is 60. We're already pretty close to that getting out the door this morning. All right, Futurecast shows wind gusts on the order of 30 miles an hour in the Willamette Valley, 30 to 40 at the coast, and there could be some spikes of 50 miles an hour with the gusts out of the south in the Coast Range later today. So just be mindful of that. The wind should ratchet down a little bit this evening, but it will bounce back again tomorrow night. You can see Futurecast once again shows those winds climbing again as we're in a very mild and wet weather pattern. Mild is an understatement. PDX through the first half of the month of December is 7.8 degrees above average. That is alarmingly warm, and part of the reason why there's no snow up in the Cascades right now. That may change a little later this week, but for today, it's all about the warm and the breeze and the rain. Eugene, I don't think Eugene's record's in jeopardy, but downtown, our record high was set in 1962 with 60. At PDX, it's 59. At Salem, 60. All of those are in jeopardy today as I think we take a run into the 60s for our third time this month. Futurecast actually likes Portland getting to 61 later this afternoon. All right, the rain, the steady soaking that we've had out there this morning will start to get punctuated a little bit by on and off showers and maybe even a rumble of thunder. And Futurecast bears that out. The morning is by far the wettest part of our day. The rain should begin to diminish later today. The afternoon commute should be a little easier in terms of rainfall on the roads than what we went through this morning. Nonetheless, wet this morning, mid-50s. Maybe some sun breaks with temperatures inching towards 60 by noontime. And then let's get a little deeper into the week. The next system comes in late tomorrow night, and this low targets Vancouver Island, and we expect a pretty gusty south wind to develop. So this is Tuesday night into Wednesday. That's our next soaking. Behind that system, look at this. When's the last time you saw Futurecast painting snow in the Cascades? It's been a while, and I think finally we will get some snow, at least up at the ski resorts, as we go Wednesday, Thursday, and beyond. And of course, just in time for winter. The winter solstice is Sunday morning. That is a wet 7-day forecast. All right, let's get you out the door with a look at the roads right now. And the roads are slow and go. And right now we are looking at about 21 minutes or so to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. That's your I-5 South commute. Let's look at some of the traffic cameras out there. Up in the upper left-hand corner, that is the Sylvan Hill out near Highway 26 at the Sylvan Hill. Plenty of rain there. And the I-5 drive through Tualatin right there, that northbound I-5 commute is starting to build as well. I got the wrong clicker. Let me grab the right one. Your northbound I-5 drive right now, getting you in from Wilsonville Road, is averaging just over 30 minutes at last check. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Two mass shootings, one here in the U.S., the other on the other side of the world, leave 24 dead and many more injured. Coming up on Sunrise, a look at new developments in the Brown University shooting and also new details in what police are calling a targeted terrorist attack in Australia.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Our national and world headlines this morning start with two mass shootings over the weekend. In Rhode Island, police released a person of interest in the Brown University shooting about 12 hours after arresting them. And a deadly attack in Australia is being investigated as a terrorist attack targeting Jewish people. Here's NBC's Alice Barr with more on both shootings.
After a weekend of devastating gun violence from the campus of Brown University in Rhode Island, where 2 people were killed, 9 injured in a classroom.
Rescue 1 just transported 1 victim.
To the shores of Sydney, Australia, with at least 15 people killed, close to 30 in the hospital in what investigators call an anti-Semitic attack. President Trump weighing in.
To the 9 injured, get well fast, and to the families of those 2 that are no longer with us, I pay my deepest regards and respects from the United States of America.
That as investigators in Rhode Island said overnight they were releasing a person of interest in the Brown shooting.
There was some degree of evidence that pointed to this individual, but that evidence needed to be corroborated and confirmed. That evidence now points in a different direction.
Security video shows a person believed to be the shooter with no clear image of their face. As investigators raced to track down the gunman, the mayor of Providence looking to ease the community's fears.
We have not received any credible or specific threats to the Providence community.
While in Australia, police have identified 2 suspects, a father and son, accused of terrorism targeting Jewish people who were celebrating the first day of Hanukkah at Bondi Beach, one of Australia's most popular tourist sites.
What was the most shocking was how long the gunfire lasted.
The 50-year-old suspect fatally shot at the scene, his 24-year-old son in custody and hospitalized with critical injuries, a bystander being hailed a hero for disarming one of the gunmen.
Again, that was Alice Barr reporting for us this morning. Coming up at 8 o'clock, Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz will join us live with local reaction to the attack in Australia. He'll also cover what Portland police are doing in response to that mass shooting.
If you haven't heard 350 tubas playing, you just haven't heard real music.
Also in our next hour here on KGW Plus, hundreds gathering in downtown Portland for the annual Tuba Christmas concert over the weekend. We're going to introduce you to one longtime performer at this concert who continues to tackle the tuba at 90 years of age. The Sunrise Show continues in just a few minutes.